Welcome to Disc Golf Live Video Magazine. This time around, we're celebrating the fairer sex with coverage of 2 ladies-only tournaments. Longtime contributors, Pure Heiser Productions, are back with Final 9 coverage from Daisy Chains. And first-time contributors, Dynamic Discs, shared coverage of the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championship. The team at Dynamic Discs have also sent over some technique and rule segments that we'll be sharing in this and upcoming episodes as well. We'll start with some tips on driving from Dynamic Discs in just a bit after we thank our underwriters. First, let's watch Nate Sexton throw this one in. Made it look too easy, though. Nowadays, players aren't allowed the over-the-top line on this hole.
Tell me your name, where you're from.
Nate Sexton, Eugene, Oregon.
Nice shot, Nate.
Production and distribution of Disc Golf Live is made possible through the generous support of our underwriters. Thanks for your support.
Hi, this is Dixon Jowers, and joining me is Paige Bjerkes. We're here with Dynamic Disc TV to bring you a new segment this series. We're calling it Back to the Basics. So we're going to show 2 different pros' perspectives on drives, upshots, and putts. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go, and then Paige is going to go, and we're going to tell you what we're thinking, what we're doing with our body, and then what we're trying to actually accomplish with all of those things combined together. So let's get over to the drives. All right, so I want to tell you how I do my drive, what I'm actually doing, and then what I'm thinking about. There's 3 parts to the drive that I have to keep in mind when I'm getting ready to go: the load, the twist, and the release. So let's start with that beginning. The main thing that I want to do on my drive is, because my backside and my thighs, they're the biggest muscle group in the body, I have to get them involved. So the easiest way to do that in disc golf is what we call the X step. So as I'm progressing down the tee box, I'm going to lead with my dominant foot. So if I'm throwing with my right hand's going forward. As I open this up, my left foot is then going to go behind my right foot, creating kind of an X in my legs here. That's why we call it the X step. Then, as my right foot is going to be the next one to move, I'm going to have to pivot on my left, sticking my right foot out behind. What this does is, this is the load part of the throw. It gets my hips turned away. Next, so my hips are turned away. Now I gotta get coming through this. I gotta use all of the potential stored energy right here and get it to the disc. So the way that that happens is I'm gonna begin to twist. Now, that's what my lower body's doing. My upper body, I wanna have the disc pointed as far away from the target as I can, so that it creates the longest amount of time that I can accelerate through here. So as I get turned away with my hips, I'm going to begin to pull through. As my foot twists, it's going to start sending that twist up my body. My hips are going to turn, my waist is going to turn, and it's going to start turning my shoulders also. What this ends up doing to the disc at the end is, as I pull through, I want to keep this disc close to me and high across the top of my chest. What that does is it takes all of this energy as it's coming up through my body, and it gets it out to my wrist, so that the very last thing that happens as I come through is that wrist pop. So that all of this power has come all the way up from the ground, transferred through my body to get it out at the very end. And the last thing that I'm doing is I want to release the disc at whatever angle it is that I'm trying to accomplish for that particular shot, whether hyzer or flat or whatever. That's one of the most important things you can do. So as I twist through, I want to keep the disc close to me so that I can get this energy to my wrist, to the disc, and out into the fairway. That's what I like to do. Let's see what Paige Bjerkes likes to do.
Okay, so we just saw what Dixon likes to do. What I like to do when I step up to a tee pad and I'm about to, attack a hole, is I like to think about what I'm planning, what I want my disc to do. And what I'm going to be doing to get my disc to do what I want is the X step. So I think most of you guys have heard of it. It's a simple couple of steps. I start with my left foot forward, and then I put my right foot kind of parallel with it. Then I cross my left foot back, and then I'm reaching far across, and then I come through. So you kind of make an X with your foot. And so that's how I get the momentum and power that I need to execute the shot that I want. So I'm going to kind of break down what I do and what I'm thinking at each step. So my first step is to kind of get my momentum going, because the more momentum you have, like in the steps you have, the more the momentum will go to your disc when you finally release, which causes more spin and more power, and it goes further. So my first step is to kind of, you know, get the jumpiness out and kind of get that first step going. And so as I'm coming over, I've got my disc right here. I want to keep my disc as close to my body as possible, because the more tight and the more compact your throw is, the more power that you're going to have when you actually release, because your power isn't out here, or you're not losing anything here, you're keeping it really tucked in, and that's what I do. So at this step, I'm right here, I'm keeping it really close. During the X step, I start to reach back. I'm not reached back all the way yet, but I'm about halfway there. I'm kind of getting my momentum ready. At the next step, I'm reached back as far as I can. The point of this is the further you reach back, the more momentum and power will be coming through and out into the disc, which will cause your disc to go further. So at this point, I'm reached back as far as I can. I want my hips to be directly facing the opposite way of the hole. So at this point, my hips are facing this way, even though the hole's that way, and my shoulders are doing the same thing. My shoulders are straight back, and I'm reaching back as far as I can. And then the next step is that I am pulling through, and I'm spinning and rotating on my heel. You don't want to spin on your toe, you want to spin on your heel. And I'm pulling it through very tight and compact across my chest. As a girl, you kind of have to figure out where to kind of place it, because your chest can get in the way. But for me, I kind of bring it over my chest. And so I keep it tight, and you want to keep the disc as flat as you can. That's what I do. You can imagine like there's food on your plate, and if you get it off its flatness, you're going to spill your food. So you want to keep it flat across the entire time, and you're rotating on your heel. And then it comes out and you spin. So one thing is, when I'm here and I'm reached back, there's kind of an order that my body goes in when I throw. So first I'm going to twist my hips and attack with my hips, and then my torso's going to follow, then my shoulder, and then my arm, and then my wrist. And with all the power you gain from that, your body's going to naturally follow through. You really want to be aware of that follow through, because if you stop yourself, you're losing that extra momentum, and you're hurting your knee and your ankle. Like, that can really hurt you in the next few years if you don't follow through. And so that's one thing I'm really aware of when I throw, is that follow through, because I know I gain a lot more distance with my follow through, and I'm more accurate, and I have a better success rate while I'm focusing on that following through.
And that's how we get back to the basics on our drives. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we're going to take a look at your fairway shots.
Hi, I'm Pavel Stubstad with Pure Heiser Productions. With me today I've got Jessica Weiss, Innova sponsored player, and we're going to give you Final 9 coverage at Daisy Chains. In the first part of this episode, where my guest was Leah Feltenstein, we saw the third round at Daisy Chains, which was the final round where we saw the full course. For the final 9, of course, being only 9 holes, they've changed the layout a little, and why don't you tell me about that, Jessica?
They changed the layout a little bit for the final 9, and they made it a lot more technical, and they basically took out all the big wide open holes that Paige liked to park, and they made it a little more technical and challenging for us.
That's right, yeah. In the final 9, we got the first 4 holes, and then the players are going to skip from hole 4 to hole 15, play 15 through 18, and then play hole 1 one more time. So it should make for kind of an interesting type of round, very different from the third round, because we're not going to see any of those wide open bombers with the OB and all that. It's just all the technical holes, so it should be fun. Let's get to the coverage. Here we go, Daisy Chains Final 9. In first place, we've got Paige Pierce sitting at 19 down from Plano, Texas, with a rating of 973.
In second, we have Owen Scoggins sitting at 9 down from Los Angeles, California, rating 949.
Valerie Jenkins in third, sitting at 5 down from Bend, Oregon, with a rating of 965.
Myself sitting in fourth place and 2 under from Grass Valley, rating 940.
Hole 1, par 3, 384. Pretty tricky shot, blind off the tee over the crest of a hill, and the basket's pretty protected as well by a fence and some trees. The tournament is over for everyone else besides these 4 players. This is just a final 9 for the top 4 FPO players. Paige is up first. Overturned that one a little bit and clipped the trees, but kick back in the fairway. She should be okay.
Here goes Owen. Throwing a backhand. Looks pretty good.
Good line. Nice straight shot. Came down a little short, but it's a long hole. I mean, that's a good drive.
It's a little windy out there.
Yeah, it wasn't too windy during the third round for the most part. Wind picked up a little. And Val got caught up in some of those trees, but she's in a decent spot. Just like round 3, Jessica takes the only sidearm line. And that's good, just short of the fence. You had a putt at it in round 3, but...
Not quite enough turnover on that one.
And Paige took that upshot really fast. I was surprised. She usually takes her time a little more. And she's up there for a 4. That's a tough hole, and she's got a huge lead. I don't think she's too worried about it.
Owen's right there. Tap in 3.
Nice Anheuser upshot from Valerie from behind those branches there. CTP. Gave it a chance, just a little left. And I mean, it's great to even have a birdie look at this hole. It's a tough one to get to.
We're all just tapping in for 3s.
Yeah, wow. Woohoo. Count it.
Owen congratulating Valerie there.
I'm gonna put through these weird little branches.
That's kind of a cool little log there. Half fallen tree, whatever it is. And Paige is actually tapping in for a 4 there, unfortunately. But like I said, she's got a huge lead. I think she's all right. So 3 pars and a bogey. And we're on to hole 2, which this is a tricky hole. There's a lot of OB left, right, and an OB creek that crosses the fairway about 2/3 of the way down.
This is a really hard par 3.
On it. Woo!
Nice shot by Owen. It looked like she wasn't trying to get all the way there. She was just trying to get far up the fairway before the OB.
Placement shot's great on this hole.
Good placement. Oh my God.
It really is. The birdie's going to be so rare that the smartest play is to just try to avoid the OB and put yourself in a good spot for an open up shot. Just a little high on that, but it could have been good if it missed those branches. Looked like it was turning. And of course Paige has to go for it.
She's safe on the other side.
She got over the creek and she's got a long up shot down the road there.
It's just a little long.
It's a tough green there, you know, your upshot was fine. It's just with that hill on the left, you know, the way it came down and you got a little kick and a roll. This hole's far and the green's challenging and there's a lot of OB. Really a lot of factors that make it one of the toughest holes at Pinto Lake.
Thank you.
Second shot for Paige. She's going for it.
I was surprised to see her go for that one. That's a risky one to run. I mean, she was like 50 feet, and there's the hill right there. She didn't go down the hill, but she's got a long par putt now.
Misses come back here.
I couldn't help but notice that Paige was super focused throughout the earlier rounds, and in the final 9, at least at the beginning, she didn't seem as focused, you know, with the gallery watching and stuff. It might have been a little distracting. Paige with a 4. And Jessica with a 4 as well. But it's a tough hole. I mean, a lot of players are taking 4s on this. I think we saw several 4s in the round 3 video as well.
This is definitely a tough 3.
Couple bogeys, couple pars, still pretty big spread between all the players. And hole 3 is technically much more reachable than hole 2, but it's super protected too, and the green is sloped.
Fast green.
Fast green, sloped in a direction that, you know, where makes backhand hyzers come up and slide down the hill, even on potentially good shots.
There is OB to the left across the road.
Yes, down there across the road, and I think Owen may have gone down there and gone over the OB line. We saw Owen birdie this hole actually in round 3, so go back and check that out if you haven't already. It was a great shot.
Oh.
Well, been there before.
She was there last round, like she just said.
That was your gator, right?
Yeah, that was the same thing that happened last round.
Still, I mean, where you're at out there, you're in a good spot for a par. And it's easy to kick or roll down left towards the OB and also be looking at a tough 3rd shot after that, so.
Val throwing a rear sidearm.
And she stopped down here, so this is her 2nd shot. Oof.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Win OB and kicked safe.
Yeah, that was a little tree love right there. She turned that over going right into the OB, and here we see Owen is barely OB. It was not far past the OB line. So she's going to be throwing for 3 from here. A little short, but I mean, what are you going to do? The window's so low, she had to squat. Val for 3. She's probably thinking about last round on this hole. It wasn't kind to her then either. And there you go. I mean, this hole is definitely more birdieable than holes 1 or 2, but it's also real easy to take high numbers on it, so 3s are good.
Dot. Counting.
And for those that didn't see the round 3 video, the dot they're referring to is at this tournament, if you hit basket and didn't make it, you would get a dot. And there were prizes at the end related to the dots.
Mm-hmm.
And Val laid up for a 5 there. Paige laid up for a par. She rolled a little past it, but I don't think it was too bad.
Yeah, the 3.
I'm happy with the 3 on this hole.
And Paige probably is as well. And Val with the 5. And Owen also with the 5P for Owen going OB.
The action from Daisy Chains will continue shortly. Meanwhile, here's a primer on the dreaded out of bounds. You know you go there.
This is A-Ray with Team Dynamic Disc, and we're going to talk today about Rule 804.04, out of bounds. One of the things you might need to know is what options you have for yourself when you make a shot that goes out of bounds, and we're going to demonstrate that here today. Okay, I've just thrown my tee shot on this hole, and I've gone out of bounds into that creek over there on the right. I now need to know what to do to play my next shot according to rule 804.04 out of bounds. In this course, we have an OB boundary, which is the top of the creek. I now have 3 options available to me according to 804.04. The 3 options available are the previous lie, where I threw my last shot from, in this case the tee box, or the out of bounds spot, which is up to 1 meter from and perpendicular to the spot where it went out of bounds, or the designated drop zone if available. This hole does have a designated drop zone, so what I want to do is think, which shot is more advantageous to me? Is it there, is it here, or is it there? In this case, I want to choose the designated drop zone because that's going to get me closer to the basket. I'm going to be throwing with a 1 throw penalty from either spot, so I want to take the one that's going to give me the best advantage, in this case, the drop zone. Another thing players get confused about 804.04 out of bounds, is when they're in the circle putting. Here I am, I've made my approach, I'm in the circle putting, and I'm going to take my putt. Sometimes what will happen is you'll have a little bit of bad luck. You'll make your putt, you'll hit the cage, and take a really, really bad roll, and most players are going to go to the out of bounds spot and take their next shot. But remember, you have 3 options at all times: the previous lie, the drop zone, or the out of bounds spot. In this case, the drop zone's further away and the out of bounds spot's further away. If I go out of bounds here, what I want to do is come back to my previous lie and putt from this same spot with the 1 throw penalty, because that's the most advantageous to me. And that's rule 804.04 out of bounds. Go to pdga.com to learn more about this rule and other rules.
And all of a sudden, their second, third, fourth are all within reach for everyone. Hole 4 is a pretty interesting shot. Only 203 feet, but completely blind. There's a high Annie line to the left or a hyzer line to the right.
I like the high Annie line with the putter. Just throw it high and let it drop. Not that time, though.
You did throw a good shot on this one in round 3, I remember. And it's a fun shot, the little Annie putter shot up over there. I agree. That's my preferred line as well.
Paige is also going that way.
It's a little left.
She clipped the same tree, but still made it.
And she almost took out Shasta Chris there, spectating from the side of the green. He's made a guest appearance in both parts of the Daisy Chains videos. Owen going for the same line. Too much Annie on that, and if you sail way past it down there, there is a swamp deep right of the pin, and I'm pretty sure she went in it. Here we're going to see Val take the hyzer line. Completely different approach to this hole. And that's it.
Very nice.
Yay!
It's pretty much as good as you can do with the hyzer line on hole 4.
Yeah, we got a pretty good sized gallery there.
Yep, layup for par from there. Too risky to run, I agree with that. And here we see where Owen went OB down into the swamp. They're kind of discussing where it happened. And I'm pretty sure she did not get that disc back.
We didn't find it. Throwing a sidearm. Almost went in.
Running the 3. Fearless. And Paige for birdie. Death putt.
Very nice.
There's the Paige we were seeing in round 3. Took her a few holes to warm up in the final 9. And Owen for bogey after going OB. And that rolled down the hill across the road. Real close to making her 5 too. I mean, it was strong side, low, just a little too wide. Yeah, that's a good par.
Weak side, but it's stuck.
And Val after a great drive. It's nice to see that hyzer line work out for her. And a great birdie. And poor Owen with a 6 after going OB and getting a roll away and just the last two. Lost her disc too. Yeah, the last 2 holes were not kind to her. And just like that, 4-stroke swing and Val and Owen are tied for second. Seeing more movement in the final 9 than we did for the whole 3rd round. And now we're skipping over to hole 15, 327 feet, pretty deathy behind the basket. And here's Ben. Thanks again, Ben Baker, for providing the footage from the second camera. Look at him running down the fairway to get the good angle for the discs coming up before the players are ready to throw. He was dedicated to doing a good job, so thanks, Ben. And Paige is up.
This is the women's CTP hole for all divisions. There's little fake daisies throughout the whole fairway marking them.
And there they are. We actually saw Valerie throw the CTP drive on this hole for the whole tournament in round 3, but it was her and Nate Doss who donated the CTP prizes, so she didn't take it, obviously. But she had the CTP herself. Jess, once again, the only player taking the sidearm approach. That looked pretty good. There for a look.
I'm really surprised Owen doesn't throw sidearm on this hole.
Well, she's got the backhand line down, it seems.
Oh wait, shoot. 2? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Show me how it's
you
done.
went first last time.
Yeah. Show me how it's done.
And if, for those of you who didn't see the round 3 video, Owen and Paige were really close in the same hole last time, and pretty much the same thing happened, except Owen went first.
And she hits it solid.
That's just incredible to see after what happened on this hole, the 3rd round.
That's how you do it.
Well done, Paige.
You're dangerous. You're dangerous. All right, no pressure, of course. Come on.
Oh,
Deja vu.
that was so crazy. That was like the same thing that happened in round 3, the other way around.
You should let me go first.
There was debate over who was up, and Owen went and hit her putt, and Paige barely missed her putt, high, weak side. Everything exactly the same way, but the other way around. And Val almost gets the birdie.
More dots.
For a good sidearm drive. Solid. Good birdie. Making moves.
That's a good one.
Val and Owen tap in for par. Paige and Jessica with the birdies there. Jessica's now only 2 strokes away from second place. Hole 16, 204 feet. Another one they installed a shorter tee for daisy chains. Made it a little hyzer shot up the hill. Paige punched through the tree.
Looks like she threw her putter there.
I think she did in round 3 also on that ace run. The flight of that shot, it looked like a putter flight.
Get in. Skip in.
No. Sit. That's disc golf for you.
Keeping in good spirits about it. Hey, it wasn't your fault. You threw a good shot. What are you going to do?
Name of the game.
And we saw she didn't hit pole, but she hit the tree right by the basket and really should have been parked for a 2 in round 3 and also rolled down the hill on the same hole. So this hole doesn't like you.
Yeah. Deja vu again.
Even though you threw a better shot this time.
Here goes. Oh, running it.
You gotta make exciting. But this far.
It was pretty far away.
And just like round 3, no choice.
Gotta
really.
lay it up.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Take a 3.
Val's got some branches. Yeah.
That's a tough putt.
It is. I mean, if she'd really gone for that, she would have probably clipped those branches anyway.
And you can also hit the basket and roll down the hill.
Yeah.
That was a great birdie.
Yeah. She was in the circle, but I mean, that was a death putt looking down the hill.
Another great birdie.
Yep. Beautiful job, ladies. Station. Yep.
And Valerie and Jessica get pars.
There's the whole gallery supporting all the women.
Yeah, it was awesome to see everybody out there. It was really a different experience going to this women's only event.
Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze here, and I'm in the town of Superior, Colorado for the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championship presented by Dynamic Discs. A while back, Doug Bjerkes and Ray Woodruff contacted me, and they wanted to be on the podcast Disc Golf Answer Man, and they wanted to help promote their event. Well, as I interviewed them, I learned some really unique things that they had going for this event. One of those things was that they had a caddy program where caddies actually paid so they could be a caddy for the women out here, and a basket program where companies from all over and individuals purchased these baskets that were used at a temporary course in Purple Park, and then once the event's over, they get these baskets. So I thought I wanted to find out more about this event. Also, why is it important for all women events for disc golf? So let's take a look at what I found out.
Yeah, so actually in the late fall or early winter of 2010, I thought about, how cool it would be to actually run a women's event here in Denver. And I approached the Mile High Disc Golf Club, which is a very large organization here in Denver that promotes disc golf, and they said, yeah, we'll support it, we'll put a little money towards it, and you can run it. And so Ray Woodruff, a buddy of mine, he and I decided to run that first one, and that was in 2011. We actually ran it in 11. That summer in June, we had 58 women show up, and it was an awesome time. The ladies enjoyed it. We implemented a caddy program. We did a lot of cool things that then laid the groundwork for the 2012 event, the 2013 event, and then we decided that it had gotten so big, and we kept telling each other, bigger and better, bigger and better. But to go bigger and better, it's always more work, and so we said, why don't we go every other year? There's a lot of great events around that go every other year, the Japan Open, and by no means are we a Japan Open, but we thought, let's really focus on every other year, and plus that also allowed us to kind of create some balance with the Women's Global event, which is a huge women's event that every other year on even years, has tournaments all over the country. So we wanted to, maybe step aside so that could have more, power, especially here in Colorado during the even years, and then we'd run our event in the odd years. So this now is the 15 event, which is our fourth version. So it's a little bit of the history.
are starting this up and getting baskets ready to go out on the course. Beautiful here in Colorado.
So the basket sponsors are a pretty cool part of what we do at the RMWDGC. This started in 2013 when we needed a second course, and there was a beautiful park near the course where we were holding the event, and we thought, man, it would be awesome to put a course there. And so we approached the city and said, hey, we want to put a temp course in for this tournament, and of course when you want to put in a temp course you need baskets, and we really wanted to have sharp looking baskets. So we negotiated a deal for a bunch of baskets. We advertised that folks could buy those baskets and sponsor them. Their name would be on the basket. It would be used during the event, and then as soon as the event is over, they get to take the basket home. So we did that 2 years ago, and then we repeated it this year. So here at Purple Park for the 2015 RMWDGC, we went out and got 24 baskets. It took about 2 weeks, and we had 24 folks that all stepped up and said, I want to buy a basket that's used in that event. And it's really cool how the disc golf community comes around and supports that, from businesses to individuals. You can see on the baskets it might have someone's name and their PDGA number, or the name of a business or a club or something like that. So we ended up with veteran baskets this year from Dynamic Discs, and they did a really nice custom purple band on the top of the basket that has the tournament logo, has the hole number, has the name of the basket, veteran basket, and then it also has the sponsor's name on it. It's pretty cool. You know, a lot of people want a basket, right, and they want one in their yard, and you can go buy a regular disc catcher or a regular recruit from Dynamic Discs, or a regular DGA basket, and they're all great baskets, but these baskets they have a little lore to them because they were part of a tournament, and they have a tournament logo on them. And some of these touring pros, we joke about it, but everyone that gets a basket, someone like Val Jenkins or Paige Pierce, they've all made 3 putts in that basket because they've played 3 rounds out here. So that's kind of cool too. But it's been a really great way for us to raise money for the event, get a matching set of baskets to use at a temp course, and create some excitement and a good look. It really does make it look professional when all the temp baskets do look the same.
Well, when Doug came to the event, we realized that we wanted to create something special so that the players could be a little pampered, a little, well taken care of for the day. And one of the things we thought about was having caddies for them. And we were trying to figure out ways to entice people to come and guys to come and caddy and give up their days to be on the course and haul bags around for the ladies. And so we thought caddies would be great, but we want to give them something, and it gets a little pricey when you run tournaments, and that's how that goes. So we thought, well, you know what if we charge them $25 and then give them a great caddy pack, shirt, disc, whatever we can get together, and also allow them to play the course that we're playing at, which has usually been a temp course or a private course that has been pretty much inaccessible for most people. So this way they get the perk of being able to play a course they don't get to play often. They get to have a caddy pack there all the time, and most of the guys have said since in years that have come that they have had more fun being caddies than they've had playing tournaments. And we treat the caddies pretty well. Most of them get better in their caddy pack than they do at other tournaments. So they've paid $25 at the first year and $30 every year after, and that's just how it's been. So it's been a good ride and very popular.
Tell me why you paid in to be a caddy at this event.
Well, the nice thing about the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championships is it's for the ladies, and so I wanted to give back to my community and help grow the sport in the way I can, and paying in to be a caddy was just one of those ways. And there's some benefits for caddies, but ultimately I just wanted to help out in any way I could and support the growth of the game in the women's community in Colorado.
And when you can get a bunch of top ladies to come out, as well as a bunch of rec ladies that are trying tournaments out for the first time, there is nothing better than supporting women in disc golf and making their experience that much better.
This is my 4th year at caddy, and I wouldn't do anything else on this weekend. It is the greatest thing to see 110 women playing a course, and just to get to walk around in a goofy shirt and be a part of this, it's fantastic.
You know, lots of people have asked me why a women's only event, and it all started with me sharing a house with a wife that played and a daughter that played and loved disc golf. And a lot of times we'd go to tournaments and there'd be 90 people and 86 of them would be guys and there'd be 4 ladies. And the Mile High Disc Golf Club has always done a great job with women. They pay every woman at every event. You know, they try to make them feel special, but it's hard to feel special when you're 4 ladies and there's 86 guys playing.
I think it is important for disc golf because it grows the female disc golf community. These events are, I guess, friendlier than other ones because there's not the intimidation of men and all that stuff, and us ladies are here to, you know, play the game but also have fun. And I think it's a good way to introduce women to the sport in a positive way, because most women are introduced in sort of a negative way with all the guys and them feeling bad about themselves because they're not throwing as far as the guys. When there are events like these, they feel more welcome and like more involved in the game.
For me, I feel that our women's events are very important because we are only 7% of the PDGA. No matter how much our growth is, our women's side still sustains at that 7%. So to have a women's only event, to cater to our needs, the things that we want, and to bring everybody together, I think that's the most important, and they're way too much fun.
Women-only events are extremely important for disc golf, and obviously for women playing. It's a great introduction to the competitive side of the sport, but women playing together, they can see that it's fun too. And having these events like this creates relationships and makes more women come out. Now they're responsible for coming out, they met new friends, and those friends want to play with them again. So these events are extremely important.
Well, I think guys can play anywhere. The ladies that come out and play don't get to feel that, I don't know, they don't feel like they're catered to or that the tournaments are focused around them at all. You know, and sometimes there are lots of things that guys can do in normal tournaments, put the ladies on hole 1 or put the ladies, you know, where they can be near the restrooms at certain points of the tournament or add restrooms and things like that to help make the ladies feel more welcome. But an event like this really caters to the ladies.
Come on, come on.
Oh!
So that side is gone. You'll start on hole 12. You'll just go through the course, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, until a winner's decided. If you get to hole 24 and there's not a winner that's decided, we'll come right back here to hole 12.
Our 2015 RMWDGC Open Champion. This is the 4th champion we've had, starting with Paige Bjerkes, followed by Katrina Allen, followed by Valerie Jenkins. We've got a good line of champions. Our 4th champion for 2015, taking home $1,705, as well as the first place Pyrohyzer Glass Mini, Sarah Hokum.
There you go, guys. An amazing event put on by everybody here. Congrats to the Mile High Disc Golf Club. Congrats to Ray Woodruff. Congrats to Doug Bjerkes and everybody involved, all the caddies, all the players, and a special congratulations to Sarah Hokum for winning the Women's Pro Division after that amazing playoff between her and Paige Pierce. I tell you what, I had an amazing time. Everyone had an amazing time out here at the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championship presented by Dynamic Disc.
It was awesome to see everybody out there. It was really a different experience going to this women's only event.
It's one of my favorite tournaments of the year. They treat us so good there. It's unbelievable.
And with that birdie that Owen got on the last hole, actually, she's now got 1 stroke on Val and is in second with 3 holes to go, because we got 17, 18, and then 1 again.
This one's just a little hyzer.
Yep, 150 feet, super protected basket, sloped green. And I think that did not come out of the tree, and the 2-meter rule was in effect at this tournament, California. So I think Owen will be taking a 2-meter penalty there.
Should be right there.
She skipped through. She's got a putt. The course was not kind to Owen for this final 9.
Yeah, she had some really bad luck out there.
Another great gator shot. And here we see.
Yeah. She's up in the tree.
That looks right to me.
She's getting this one back, though, at least.
I think it took a little effort to get it out. It was pretty jammed in there. Those oak trees are grabby. It's a tough upshot she had from there, too. She didn't have much of a window. She's got kind of an awkward putt to save a 4 now. And Val for birdie.
That was a good birdie.
Yay!
Gotta get this hole, though, man.
Yeah, definitely. Shortest hole in the course. I mean, if you hit your window, then you should be there for a 2.
If you don't get this hole, you know you're losing a stroke to most all the field.
And as a runner, you could hear there's a little trail near this hole. Somebody just happened to run by right as Paige was putting. Didn't make a difference. And here's Owen to save a 4, straddling out from behind this big tree.
That was a good
Yeah,
save.
I mean, that was close, but that didn't look like an easy putt. Owen's husband and caddy, I believe, following her there. Val with the birdie and Owen with the bogey. Val now has 1 stroke on Owen, with Jessica only 1 stroke behind Val. It's getting close here with 2 holes to go.
Battling it out in the last few holes.
Bam! Got it.
Good
Paige
shot.
goes right down the middle.
It looked really good at first, and I was surprised at how understable that was. It just kind of kept turning. I'd still put her right there, though. I mean, in the fairway. Long looking at 2.
Get over it. Yeah. Wow.
Wow, wow.
Get up there.
Oh, really nice.
Redemption from last round.
And that outside hyzer sidearm line is definitely there. You just missed it by a little bit, but it's another viable option for this hole. Owen likes the sidearm up the gut.
Owen with another great shot.
Skips over there, and we saw Owen birdie this hole in round 3. So whether she's having a good round or bad round otherwise, she's got hole 18 figured out apparently. And it's a tough one to have figured out too.
Yeah, I was debating on going down the middle or out and around. I just decided that out and around was more safe.
It definitely is. I mean, you're going to birdie it less, but you're also going to bogey it less. You know, you're consistently going to par, and you might get there for a birdie look too.
Not even a dot?
Paige was looking for a dot there.
Owen, after another beautiful drive on hole 18, closer this time than she was in round 3.
Almost didn't stay in there.
And Val with a complete park job on this hole. With a beautiful looking drive to boot, just straight up the gut. And a good 3. 3's not bad on this hole. Bogeys can happen easily. And Paige with the par as well.
Says it's the last hole, but we still got one more left. See what happens on the last one.
Still really close between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And we're back to hole 1 one more time. The last hole of the final 9.
It's almost over. Don't hold your breath, though.
Last hole.
Jessica.
I got to say, last hole, wow. Give you a hand. Thanks. I have a lot of fun. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Drew Gibson. He wants some high fives, too. And Owen was giving him some Christmas carols there. How nice of her.
Straight, right down the gut.
That's a nice shot by Val.
That's a great shot. She'll have a putt for 2.
A long look, but yeah, that was just
right outside the circle.
Just like her shot on 18, really, just went straight at it.
I'm throwing a sidearm with a little too much turnover.
Yeah, maybe just a little more stable disc, and that shot could have worked out great for her. It just kind of held its line, though. Might have rolled off a little, I'm not sure.
I think there's a little headwind out there. Might have just turned it over a little.
That's a bomb from Paige. I think she's out there for a look.
She's got a look. It'll be outside the circle, but she's got the look.
Jessica going for that same sidearm line again that she did at the beginning of this final 9.
I got a long look for a 2.
You're on close to the green. Long look at 2, that's great on this hole. Owen with a nice sidearm upshot. It kind of skipped a little ways past the basket.
Just a little early release, that's all.
Paige with a long look at 2.
Ooh, almost got it.
She's pretty much got this victory in the bag. Might as well run it. Jessica for birdie. Huge finish.
That was a good 70-footer.
That was the biggest putt that we saw through all of round 3 and all the final 9. On the last hole, too. Val had a great drive there. That was for birdie, too.
Good run.
Owen for par. Might have been a little awkward with that fence in front of her. And I don't know if she was aware of it at the time of that putt, but the fact that she missed that is actually going to make her and Jessica tied for 3rd with Val in 2nd. And here's Paige tapping in a 3.
For the win.
Yeah.
Incredible weekend for Paige Pierce.
She killed the course out there.
3.5 rounds of super solid golf. And Owen played great in the third round. She had a rough final 9. You can tell she's a little flustered, but she's in good spirits.
Drew in his fanny pack.
Caddy fanny pack. And look at that gallery out here supporting women's disc golf.
I love gallery. That's such a good thing to see. All those pink shirts out there especially.
That's disc golf. And there we see Jess with her par. Solidifies third place. Taking home the hardware. And here we see the final PDGA results. Paige and Jessica shot the hot final 9 that round. Scores of 25, which is 2 under for the 9 holes. 970 rated, quote, rounds. Pretty good.
And there we have it. That was the final 9 for the Daisy Chains. That was a lot of fun.
That's it for this show. Thanks to our friends at Dynamic Discs, Pure Heiser Productions, and the PDGA for making this episode of Disc Golf Live Video Magazine possible. Disc Golf Live exists to bring disc golf to new faces in new places. So spread the word about the show and contact your local station about arranging broadcasts. We'll set you up with the files or DVDs you need so you can make that happen. Until next time, drive carefully.
Oh, that's it. That's it.